Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Savon Gorginian today, attorney and professor. He's going to talk a lot about his journey being a professor, being an attorney, giving us helpful tips and tricks and everything with it. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned. Savon, thank you so much for coming on. It means
my
a lot
pleasure.
to me. Yeah. You've done a lot in your career, college professor as well as a bankruptcy attorney.
Right.
Did you always know you wanted to go into, in the path you have right now?
No, like I was mentioning to Dustin outside, I used to work right across this building in something completely different than what I do now. So, you kind of, I don't want to say the cliche, you never know where life is going to lead you. Like even just being here on this podcast, to think that I would come back to the brewery and to sit with, you and former students sitting in this studio. I'm really inspired with this studio that I just walked through. So,
Nice.
It's so just that experience itself, just being here, is also a reflection of you just never know where life is going to take you. I'm very happy to be here. But the answer is no, I didn't know where I was going to go. But the only thing I did know is, you have to work hard in this world. That's what my parents taught me. You can go be a vet. You can go be anything you want. Go be a teacher. You just have to be good at what you do. You got to work hard. You got to have discipline. You got to have money management skills. You got to be frugal. So as long as you have those basic instinct, traits, I think anything you do, you can be great at it. So I did know I wanted to do something that's going to be inspiring, going to be something to do that I don't want to say affect people's lives, but I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. So obviously, being a teacher, I get to do that. Being a lawyer, I get to do that. So that's what I wanted to do. And life just led me to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're mentioning a lot of like these natural instinct or things your parents taught you: frugal, discipline, working hard.
Right.
Do you feel like you had that as like a young boy, or did you kind of grow into it into your adulthood, or did you always have that inside of you? For example, for me, I definitely had some of those traits, but it kind of awakened more into my adulthood than when I was like a child.
Of course, yeah. And that's a great point. I mean, you obviously change when you get older.
Yeah.
So, so did I have these traits when I was younger? I do remember being studious. I do remember being disciplined and, things like that. But, yeah, I think it flourishes more as you get older, But I think your parents, your siblings, your friends really make an impact of what kind of person you're going to be. So, but yeah, I would attribute it to my parents mostly and my older brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, a great example would be, because I have kids now. Mm-hmm. So, we go to school shopping, whatever. I remember growing up, I have two older brothers. So everything was a hand-me-down. So we had to go and, let's say, back to school shopping. I'm like, oh, great. I want a new backpack. My brother, no, you could just use my JanSport backpack that has holes in it. No, I want a backpack. No, you're not getting a backpack.
Yeah.
So things like that, I had to learn that we're just going to have to be frugal, and things. So, but I understand it and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And me personally, like as Armenians, we're immigrants to this country. My parents came from Iran about 25, 26 years ago. So in the immigrant mentality, a lot of times, like, you have to work hard to get somewhere because nothing's going to be handed to you.
Right.
Were you born here or did you move out here?
No, I was born in excuse me. Got something in my throat. There it is.
No problem.
I was born in Iran. Yeah, we left when I was 5. We emigrated out to Germany, and then I went to kindergarten over there, and then we came here. I started first grade in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so yeah, I still have the picture of my first grade picture Skinny little kid wearing this very colorful Kmart shirt. So my mom took me to the store, got me a Kmart shirt, and I don't know if your listeners know what Kmart is, but I remember that. I remember that picture day, So, but yeah, I was born over there, but practically raised here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
so I didn't know you were born over there.
I was born in Tehran, and then moved to Austria, and then came here, and then but
Okay.
I was 3 when I came here, so I didn't like consciously remember it. But.
I like how you say Austria instead of Autriche.
Autriche.
You want to say
yeah,
Autriche.
you want to say Autriche. Yeah.
But actually, the spelling of Austria, if you look at it, it's actually spelled like Autriche.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you look at the like the real spelling of it, so that's why our parents would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Austria.
So okay, I feel you. So you mentioned you never know where life is going to take you. Did you know that you wanted to be an attorney? Like, did you know that growing up, or that kind of come onto you later on?
I knew I wanted to get in a professional setting. Okay, so I knew I'm like, either it's going to be an accountant, or it's going to be an engineer, or it's going to be. I actually wanted to be a pilot. So.
Yeah, you told me.
So, what else? A doctor, obviously, lawyer, some kind of a, let's say, professional consultant at Deloitte or something. I knew I wanted to go somewhere in that realm, which goes back to what I said earlier about making a difference in people's lives. So, I knew I wanted to do that. Now, how I ended up in the law, I really enjoyed the creative thinking. I enjoyed the academic challenge. So that's why I chose to go into that rather than, let's say, an MBA or something. I'm like, I think I'm going to go be a lawyer. It wasn't one of those cliche. My dad was a lawyer, and I'm going to be a lawyer. Garbage. So, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to be a lawyer, and hey, I get to go to court, and so that's why I did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really enjoy it too. For now.
What's the thing you like most about being a bankruptcy attorney?
Yeah, well, wow, great question. The best thing about being a bankruptcy attorney is I get to really help people get out of really bad situations. So when people call me, I feel I'm their last hope. They're like, look, I tried. Obviously, they have problems with their debt. So either they're going to lose their house, their credit cards are through the roof, wages are being garnished. So, and they've tried everything. Bankruptcy is the last option. So when they call me, they're probably like, this guy's our last savior, So I really appreciate that challenge, and to step in and help them resolve it. And when I help them resolve it, I could feel in their phone call, from the initial phone call when they call me, super high stress, super high anxiety, to the phone call telling them, hey, took care of it, it's all gone. You can feel the weight lifted off their shoulder, saying, thank you so much. And I get cards, I get texts, and I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people get out of this really crappy situations. So,
were you someone that have you always had that ability to handle stress well? Because I know you're handling a lot of people, like you just said, very high stress situations. And I'm sure it's not just one client, like it's multiple clients at once.
Right.
Have you always had that ability to handle high stress situations, or did you kind of build that over time?
I think, well, let me answer that question differently.
Sure.
Instead of high stress situations, I think I am great at, I don't want to say being a leader in like emergency situations. If, let's say, God forbid, this building caught on fire, I can promise you I'm going to be the most calmest person. I'm going to say, all right, building's on fire. Hey, let's go. Where's the stairs? Whatever. So I don't know where that came from, but I could be that person. I'm very calm. I'm not going to panic. So, and I think that somehow transcends into how I handle my stress, because my stress level and my patience and my anger, especially having little children, it fluctuates. And I've learned how to handle my stress, but I'm still obviously not a perfect person. It still gets to me. But what I really tell myself is my clients' problems are not my problems. I already have my own problems. Okay. I don't need my clients' problems. And that took a lot of time to learn, because I would really think about my clients' situations, including my students, my family, but especially my clients when they call me, you know, let's say they're, I don't know, 62 years old and they have $9 in their bank account and rent is due and the car payment's behind. Before, I would really absorb their problems and I would get really upset and sad for them.
You take it upon
I
yourself.
would take it upon myself. And then the next caller, I would take it. And then I realized that I would start to get really sad. I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, I got a family, I got a house. I'm like, why? And then I realized that internally, I wasn't doing it consciously. I was doing it subconsciously. I was absorbing their pain. And then once I realized that, I learned to control it and compartmentalize and say, you know, this client calls, you know, Sarah, this is her problem. I am here to help her with that problem. I'm not going to absorb that problem. So when I learned how to do that, it helped me control my stress level. That I'm like, hey, you know, and then look, you deal with, you know, attorneys that are just, you know, a bunch of assholes and, you know, and I'm like, it's like, this is your personality. It's not my personality.
Yeah.
I can be an asshole, you know,
Yeah.
but that's who you are. And I'm not going to let you get to me. So, so I think just understanding that you can't control people will help you control your emotions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like that's a very valuable life skill that you learn to do at work, but then you probably use it in different areas of your life as well.
Yeah. I mean, even traffic, like coming here today, there was a lot of traffic and, but I'm just like, hey, what am I going to do about it? You know? And I remember someone told me a long time ago, because, you know, traffic just annoys everyone, you know, like Prius drivers annoy everyone.
Yeah.
You don't drive a Prius, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. So for like for me, like Prius drivers really get on my nerves for some reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, traffic would really get to me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we all get tense and, oh, you know, and then I remember someone told me saying, how does you getting angry make the cars go faster? And I really thought about that. I'm like, you're right. Me sitting behind the wheel and saying, you know, you son of a bitch. It's like cars will go when they go. Me yelling and cussing and whatever, it's not going to do anything. So going back to how I handle my stress, I'm like, well, it's traffic. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
It's not going to go faster if I get angry. So why am I going to do that to myself? So anyway, was that part of your question? I have no idea.
No, that was exactly my question.
Okay, good.
Yes. Do you think like being a good lawyer, is there a layer of what you're describing to me? I'm taking a little bit of stoicism. Is there a layer of
what's that word you use?
Stoicism, stoic?
I have no idea what that word means.
Stoic is just being
stoicism?
Stoicism. Yeah, being stoic is just being calm under high stress.
Wow, there's a word for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that. See, I learned something.
There, yeah. No, I forgot what I was gonna say. But being
stoicism.
Yes, yeah. Do you think being a good attorney? Do you think being stoic, being very calm all the time? Do you think that adds to a lot of success of the job? Is that what makes a successful attorney?
I think it's part of it.
Yeah, because
it helps, and not just an attorney. I think in anything you do, you know, you could be I don't know, the Jurassic Park ride operator, whatever. Like, I think in anything you do, if you just remain focused, calm, stoic, that's the word you used?
Stoic, yeah.
Remain stoic. I think in anything you do, it can really help. Even just communicating with people, having dinner with significant other can help. I think that's a part of it. But to me, being a successful, well, there's a different part to your question. Being a lawyer, now that I have also my practice,
right.
Are you being a good business person or are you being a good lawyer? You know, so, and and I think it applies to both. So as from for the lawyer side, yes, it's like if I'm calm, I'm focused, I'm thinking, the solutions come. Where I'm like, okay, these are your solutions. The same qualities help with running a business, any business, not just a law practice, any business, because it kind of helps you focus out, what is the system that helps me streamline this through. I'll tell you how I use that in my own practice is I don't take a lot of clients because I'm at a point now in my practice, knock on wood, where I can turn away a lot of clients. And I'm not saying that, in a braggadocious way that everybody wants me. I say that in the sense that the problem clients are going to suck up my energy, are going to suck up the way I do my calmness and the way I do things. So, and I've gotten to a position where I can quickly pick that up. I can tell from the initial phone call.
Oh, you develop that skill. Yeah.
You are a problem. You're going to annoy me. So I will turn away clients saying, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And look, sometimes it's a relationship also, because when people call you, they're like, we want you, we refer to you. And how do I tell people no? I'm essentially breaking up with them immediately.
Yeah.
And you got to do that carefully, because they'll go tell people how bad person you are quickly. Like, you didn't take me, you're essentially breaking their heart, So I will refer them to somebody else, but I will be very firm, knowing that if I let you in, you're going to disturb my emotions and you're going to disturb the way we do things in my office. So so that's also another part, is be careful about the people you let into your life, not just a business, but your friends, your family, because they can really ruin your what's it called? Your chakra, your energy.
You're like
flow.
mojo, yeah.
So yeah, I attribute it also to who I don't allow into my business and to my life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll definitely call you a leader.
Oh, thank you.
All these years, yeah, no, absolutely. Of these years of you being a leader, developing into like a good leader, building your practice, mentoring students, helping people like me, what makes an effective leader a good leader in your experience?
I think what makes an effective leader is, I want to think about this because I don't want to say something cliche like, a good listener or things like that. I think what makes an effective leader is, I think what you harped on initially is, and I'm going to love using these words again, is being stoic. Just being calm, just being, calm and think about the solutions, and communicate effectively, so, like, I don't want to bring, politics into this, but if you notice how,
absolutely, whatever you want,
if you notice how Trump leads the country, regardless of what you think about him, one thing that I think we can all just agree is, look how much he has on him. Again, I'm not bringing politics for politics' sakes, but to me,
no problem.
Just imagine this person, forget his name. He had all these lawsuits. Like, God forbid, if I'm sued, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to think, I'm going to do this, whatever. But this guy was like, bunch of lawsuits, and not just civil lawsuits. We're going after you criminally. You're going to go to jail, buddy. Several of those. And running a campaign, and then the whole time it's, yep.
And he's like making jokes and
making jokes,
fun, yeah.
Just at McDonald's, pouring fries, laughing. And if you just see him like in the Oval Office, whatever, it's like you got the whole country on you. And he's just there laughing. And, I think there's a good leadership quality in that. It's because he's able to focus that, okay, this is how we're going to solve that problem and this problem. Again, I'm not saying he's good or bad. I'm going to keep that out, but it's, I think any leader, even Elon Musk, all these individuals, and there's a lot of great leaders. So, but like Elon Musk, like everything he's doing, and then suddenly it's, go to Doge in Washington, D.C. solved their problems, But I bet you he's getting emails, oh, SpaceX, there's an employee suing us for this, and someone accused you of harassment. And it's like, well, okay, well, we'll get to those, I think that's what makes a good leader, is remaining calm and even-minded to make simple decisions.
And I think that's important, because I think a lot of people harp on, oh, well, you're mentioning Elon Musk or Trump, and, well, I don't like them. Just because you don't like someone or you don't agree with them doesn't mean you can't learn something from them. I think people have to start compartmentalizing whether you like or disagree with them, or you like them or whatever it is.
Right.
You could always learn things from other people. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think I think when it comes to politics, we just have to be very careful where we get our information from, and to always ask ourselves, how does this really affect me? Mm-hmm. How does this affect me? Not your spouse, not your significant other. How does this affect me? Okay, I'll give you a simple example. We may have opinions, but like, let's say, I don't know, they're passing like the big beautiful bill. Oh my God, he's this, he's that, and this. Like, how does this affect me? Is there something in it that says, for example, my car registration is going to triple? That'll affect me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be really annoyed if my car registration, which is already too much, because I drive a big truck and I realized I have to pay more because big trucks pay more. So
yeah,
I learned that out after I got my truck. So so if there's something like that, then I would say, okay, now this affects me. But it doesn't. So I'm sure there's something that could trickle down affect you. But when people, let's say, take something and then they get so angry about it, but it's like, how does this affect you? And I'll give you another example. Let's say, remember the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade, and they got rid of it. I remember I was teaching at CSUN at the time, and it says, oh, Supreme Court overruled, no more women's rights. Story. It was a huge story, huge story.
2-3 years ago. Yeah.
And women's rights are out, whatever. So I remember going to class that day, and and I don't talk politics in class. And then I asked the students. I said, we saw what happened, and Roe v. Wade was like a case that was passed, that legalized, abortion, things like that. There's much more to it, sure. But I remember asking the students. I said, by a show of hands, how many of you have actually read Roe v. Wade? Silence. So this law that was overturned and, changed, but none of you have actually read it to realize what they actually did. And I think that's startling. So why are you so upset? If you haven't read it, you have no idea then what they did, right? So the fact that no one's read it. So the question is, well, what does Roe v. Wade say? Where do you get your information from? Is the media or some Instagram meme or somebody on Facebook writing something? You got to be careful where you're getting information from. So, but to put it in context, and I remember telling the students, I said, Roe v. Wade said, or when they overturned it, it was essentially, you have 9 justices that said, look, it's not our place to tell the entire United States, every 50 state, this is what you guys should do with respect to abortion, etc. Every state should have a right to pass their own laws. That's all it said, is we shouldn't make this a national issue. So if California, you want to allow abortion, go ahead and allow abortion. If the people of, Alabama, they don't want abortion, then don't have abortion. Allow it, yeah. So whether I think that's right or not, it's irrelevant. But that's all it did. So I remember telling the students, God forbid, but you guys still know you can go get abortions. It's still okay in California. Why are you so upset? Why are you so upset? Sure, maybe somebody from Alabama that can't get it, they're going to have problems, whatever, which I think there will be. So, but I just think, the fact that they take a little thing like they got rid of, because people were saying they got rid of women's rights.
I remember they were saying
not
that,
what they did.
Yeah,
they didn't get
I
rid of women's
remember
rights. They just said, we'll let the states decide for themselves. So I think we should be careful about what information we take and what we do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and you mentioned kind of like talking to students that you've had. You yourself were a student and
correct.
became an attorney. So is there anything you recommend for students that are like law students to be successful? Because you were in that position over at LMU when you went to school.
Yeah.
You like, what did you do to make sure that you became successful when you were in law school?
So is your question how to be a successful student in law school, or
how to be a successful student? Yeah. And as well as like how to stand out, how to things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say having discipline is key. Now I'm going to get into more specifics about what I mean. I don't want to just leave it at that buzzword. I think having a system of how you do something to make it easier really helps. Let me give you an example. And I remember in law school we had to read a lot. So let's say you had to read, this chapter on negligence and torts. So then you had to create outlines. So I remember I'm like, okay, I'm going to read. So I would read, then I would take notes, and I would do the outline myself. That's what I think made it work for me, because people can buy outlines. I have my outline. So let's say you go to law school, you're like, hey, can I borrow your torts outline? Sure, here you go. I think that's a form of laziness and not discipline by using someone else's outline. Sure, it's like kind of like, hey, you already did the work, but there's a learning to it when you do your own outline. And then I think for me, the key was to condense the outline as the weeks go by. So I would have an outline for the topic. Let's just say, product liability. I would read the chapter, and then I would have, let's say, 5 pages of notes. Then when I would study it again, I would try to make that 5 pages 3 pages. Now, you may be asking, well, what happened to those other 2 pages?
Yeah, you decreased it.
You decreased it.
Yeah.
What happened to that other 2 pages? The other 2 pages are in here now. So the more you do it, my goal was to make it 2 pages on the topic of product liability. So by the end of the semester, I didn't have 60 pages of notes, which some students did. I'm like, what are you going to do with that 60 pages? Jesus Christ. Like, I had 20 pages. I'm like, all I need to know is this 20 pages. The rest of the other 40 pages is already in my head, because I had to redo the outlines more every week and to condense. Because look, at every week you're studying, you start to memorize. You're like, oh yeah, duty, breach, harm, causation. I don't have to write that down anymore. Now I have it in here. I have to write down things that I'm having a hard time remembering. So doing the outlines every week was my key to doing well. I'm not saying I did well in law school. I did relatively well, but I think it's that discipline, because there was other students that are like, hey, you can buy, Mr. Frim's outline online, or hey, Jack has it, go get his. I'm like, yeah, but you should just do your own outline. Think that discipline is needed.
Because when you do your own, it gets downloaded in your head. And then when it's downloaded, it also builds your confidence as well.
Right. It builds confidence that, hey, I don't need my notes. Ask me anything. I'll tell you, because it's already in here. And then then it comes time for the bar exam, because
which is after law school.
Which is after law school, which is now you got to know 3 years. I would say like 2 years of studying or law school information, 2 years of education for a very difficult exam. So you got to cram in, I'm going to make up a number, like 16 subjects. You got to know it. So, and I did the same thing, because whatever you do during law school, that's essentially what it is. So I started creating outlines for each topic for the bar exam. Here's torts, contracts, evidence. So, and then I would write everything. And then I started to, because what I also learned I read from somewhere, the more senses you use, seeing, hearing,
Yeah, I've heard about
touching.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more your memory, the neurotransmitters build a connection and you learn. So I took my outlines and then I recorded myself on my phone talking to it. So I would I'm basically talking my outline, like the point of it is that, so I'd read it. Then I would put on my my headset and I'd go for a walk and I would listen to myself read the outline. And in my head, I could see it. I could see the outline in my head. Now I'm hearing it. It was kind of annoying having to hear my own voice in my own ear. I'll be honest. Sometimes I'm like, geez, do I sound like that? My wife's like, yeah, you sound like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I would do that. And then just went and took the bar exam, and the same thing I told you about what you asked me about leadership. How do you do well? During the bar exam, I remained stoic. I remained calm and collected, clear-minded. I'm like, it's just, are we allowed to curse?
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah.
It's just a fucking test.
Yeah.
Okay. People make it seem like it's like an immigration test that if you get it wrong, they're going to send you to the guillotine. You're out. It's like, dude, you don't pass, fine. You'll take it again. It's not a big deal. But people really stress out about it. I'm like, it's just a test. It's a very, very difficult test.
But it's just a test.
It's just a test. And here's what kept me calm is, well, my God, I'm going to sound old saying this. When I took the bar exam, it was 3 days. Now it's 2 days. It's 3 days of 8 hours of intensive testing. So mine was 3 days. But all I told myself is you just have to pass. In law school, everyone tries to get the A in any class. You want to get the A, you want to get the best grade. But bar exam is your last step. That's it. You're not here to impress anyone. No one's getting an A. You're just here to pass. And what do you need to pass? Anything. Is a C. So I just told myself, Sevan, you don't need to get an A. Can you get a C? Yeah, I could get a C. By the amount of outlines and condensing and listing, I'm pretty sure I could get a C. So I went in there not shooting for an A because that would have stressed me out. I'm like, I could get a C. Obviously I did more, but
sure. Yeah.
But that kept me calm, But I definitely saw others that are trying to, and people are crying, and I saw someone throwing up. They couldn't handle the stress. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, you studied, and the fee to take the bar exam is expensive. So it's like, you paid all this, you studied, and you're here throwing up. You're not stoic. I'm gonna use that word a lot. So anyway.
No, absolutely. And one thing that you told me once and I really admired is you were giving like an example of there's something someone wants to do, but they're afraid of turning 30 or turning 40.
Correct.
Well, I'm going to be a 40-year-old attorney, or I'm going to be, a
right.
35-year-old attorney. Okay, but what happens if you don't become an attorney?
Right.
You'll still be 35 or 40 anyway.
Right.
And that's something that really has something that drilled into my head, because I kind of have that fear of being behind. But then I remember what you say is that whether you're behind or not, like, you're still going to turn that age no matter what happens. So might as well just do what you need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, that the feeling of being left behind or feeling secluded, I think there's a word for that. I think it's called have you ever heard of which I'm pretty sure it's right, the imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
So I think that's what it means, is to feel like you don't fit in, whatever. But I felt
it's like
that
you're never enough. Like, you never do enough. You're not good enough. Yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned earlier about the feelings, from your childhood when you grow up and you realize, this, I'll tell you that the feeling of that imposter syndrome goes away. So you're much younger than me. I'm not going to say how much younger you are than me, but anyone that's young that feels that way, that feeling will go away. Okay. What if it just goes away.
Do you have a ballpark age of when that goes away?
Oh man, I'm not Freud. No.
I mean, in your experience, if you want to say, you don't have to.
Well, not that I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 30.
Okay.
30 is a magical number because at some point in people's lives, you become an adult. I think I became an adult later, like in my late 20s, you know. Even though I was working in and living in China when I was in my early 20s. So,
Yeah. I remember.
but I would say at that point, because like at a certain extent, you get comfortable with who you are. So, I mean, I this is going to sound really strange, but I can't tell you how proud of I am of you having this podcast.
Oh, thank
I'm being really serious. So
you. Oh,
I don't want you to feel I'm behind. I'm just like, look at this cool damn studio you're in. You know, like, I'm telling you, I'm in awe. Like, I wish I had this. You know, so
thank you.
I hope you're not sitting and saying, "Oh, I wish I was more like Seven." Believe me, I'm nobody special. Okay, I want this.
Yeah.
You know, I want to live where your friend is living. You
Yeah.
know, so but that feeling will always be there. You know, so but yeah, I think that sense of, you know, is it ever enough? It goes away. You just have to get comfortable with. I think people should get comfortable with their limitations. You know, I'm never going to be a surgeon. Okay, I'm never going to be a pilot. You know, are my friends pilots? Fine. You know, but yeah, I don't know if I answered the question.
No, absolutely, you
Yeah.
answered it.
If
Yeah.
I just rambled for like 4 minutes, but
No, you think it's rambling, but you're getting a point, and then you're
yeah.
kind of connecting it
Right.
back. So no, it's not rambling.
You know, and look, I think I'm just, and the reason is because I'm thinking of all the scenarios that I have felt that feeling of not enough, and I think 80% of people that you're around are bullshitting you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I believe. Yeah,
that
I believe that.
sometimes I would feel even in law school like, oh my God, you already have a job. Oh my God, like I didn't even apply. Like my GPA, like, you know, but they didn't have a job. Everyone's just bullshitting.
Yeah,
You know, I did always feel when I was your age that, oh my God, this person is this, that person's already married, this person is graduating this thing, and I haven't even finished my bachelor's. That's all bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all bullshit. I think what you do with your own life, whenever you do it, is what's more important. You know, so just I don't know.
no, absolutely.
My brain stopped, so I'm gonna stop talking.
No, it makes sense for sure. And just to move along a little bit is I want to talk a little bit because you do actually do, you know, you run your own practice.
Right.
When someone's running their own practice in your field, what is like maybe one or two things that you really would like give them advice as this is what you do that's good, and one thing that doesn't work when you're running your own practice?
Yeah. Like a law practice.
Yeah, your practice will be law.
So I would say maybe three things.
Sure.
Number one, don't go buying all the products and services out there, okay? Because it's very tempting. When I started, there's a damn software for everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need Clio, which does like practice management. You put your clients in and it sends them bills and keeps track of your time. Oh, I need this, I need that, and next thing I know, I'm like, shit, I'm spending $1,400 a month on subscriptions. Do I need this crap? No, I don't need this crap. So I got rid of Clio. I'm like, I'm just going to get Google Workspace, which handles everything now.
Yeah.
I don't need a bookkeeper. I'm going to be my own big bookkeeper. I'm going to pay $20 to QuickBooks, and I'm going to have it do it automatically for myself. So like that, it's just you got to think about not getting everything because there's a lot out there. And I think any business, any industry, like if you open up a restaurant, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that's like, hey, we can make this simple for you. You know, want us to handle your employee, I don't know, time and sheets or something. So that's one thing, because I quickly realized, I'm like, my goodness, the expense was high. The second thing is Something when I was starting my practice, my good friend Michael Avanesian told me. He's also an attorney, very smart personal injury attorney. Avian Law. I'm gonna give him a plug. So
Shout out Avian Law.
shout out to Avian Law. He told me, he says, look, you're not gonna have a problem getting clients. And quickly I'm like, oh geez, your words to God's ears, or however that saying goes. He says you're gonna have a problem handling the client cases.
That's what he said to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and I'm like, oh, interesting. And now I understand what it means, because the clients are there, but now handling the caseloads, making sure they're all going as planned, is much more difficult than, where am I going to get my next clients will come. Okay. Clients will come. But handling the cases and making sure you don't drop the ball, things like that is more thing. And again, going back to remaining calm, focused, that's how you handle the clients. And I think the third thing would be what I mentioned earlier about who you let into your life, including clients. If you are able to be careful about the clients you take, because one client can really suck up your energy, take up your time, and really throw off your mojo. So my other boss told me something that has also resonated with me. He says, the best client is the one that you don't take.
Oh.
And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, how does that make sense? I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, you were the best client because I didn't take you. And I am so much happier I did not take you. Yeah. So, but anyway, those are some of the tips. Keep costs down, manage cases with a clear mind, and be careful of the clients you take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to leave it off with the final question. If someone
don't ask me how much I weigh.
No.
Because I don't know. I haven't gotten on a scale. I'm in denial.
Yeah, right. Okay, no problem. If someone was to, if anything you've ever published online or what you've taught to students, if all of that was taken away from you, and you could only give one piece of advice to your students or to the world, what would it be?
What would it be? Let me think about this. I want to say something that's
take all the time.
I want to say something that's profound. What would it be? I would say this is going to sound like a very loaded answer, and there's a lot to it. But what I would say is to be a good person. That's what I would say. I would tell people, be a good person.
Yeah, I remember you told us that.
Actually. And there's a lot that comes with that. Yeah. There's a lot that comes with being a good person. Yeah. Meaning, if someone disagrees with your political views, be a good person. Respect it. Look, I just don't agree with you. Whatever. Not you son of a bitch. How dare you? Just be a good person. If you have something that others don't have, share. That's being a good person. My kids are fortunate to have a lot of damn toys. So I always tell them we need to give toys to kids that don't have the luxury of buying all these toys. So, and I'm not saying this to get, Christian Jesus brownie points, no. But I buy a lot of toys, and it's in the back of my truck right now. You know those do you know what are magnetiles? They're these toys. They're like Legos, but it's with magnets, and you just connect
I've seen them before at the stores. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool toys. So I buy those. I buy a lot of Crayola chalk that you can write on the streets.
Yeah.
And I teach my kids to pass it out to other children that don't have the ability to get those kinds of toys. So we'll stop and pass out toys to kids on the streets, and my kids learn how to make other people feel loved and appreciated and just happy. I think,
Awesome.
so I think just going back to being a good person, be a good sibling, be a good son, be a good daughter. So when I was saying be a good person, there's a lot behind it. There's a lot behind it.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if anyone wants to get into contact with you,
Don't
get in contact. Okay. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Well, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, you can follow me on Instagram because I'm banned from Facebook.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Don't ask.
Oh, okay.
It's actually stupid. I locked out of my my password.
Oh, okay.
And they're sending the password to another email that I don't have access to.
Yeah.
And it's just I just gave up.
Yeah.
And then so I'm not it was actually funny because I was talking to a friend and she's like I said, oh, she messaged me. I said, yeah, I'm not on Facebook. She's like, oh, I said, no, it's been like 3 years. She's like, but I've been tagging you. I said, you haven't noticed that I have not been on? She's like, and we started laughing. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not that memorable that people haven't noticed, but I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I'm on Instagram. You just search my name, Sevan Gorginian or BK Trust Lawyer. You can be one of my 3 millionth fan. I'm kidding. I don't have 3 million fans, but or you can call me at the office, 818-928-4445. I don't pick up a lot of my calls. It goes through an answering service. I'm just one person. Or you can just email me. Are you going to put my contact information somewhere? So
in the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. So should I do this so they can
kind of isn't in the description? Yeah. Yeah.
See here. But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But I generally want to thank you for having me here. It's I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
It was a trip coming here, and
yeah, thank you for coming out in the rain. I appreciate that.
No, not a trip that way.
Yeah.
Like a long drive. I don't mind. I just a trip as in like a psychedelic. I'm on mushrooms.
Oh,
trip.
I see.
Yeah. So like a mushrooms trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because like I said, I used to work across the thing here, and coming through the studio, it's just I'm like. It's just one of those things in life that
I'm like,
I'm like, what are the odds? Like, what am I doing here? And don't take this the wrong way, but it's the smell, it's the energy, it's just being out of Glendale. Like, it's a great environment here, in this entire creative loft. So, I really, really thank you for having me here. I'm very happy.
Absolutely,
yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.